Hi, boys and girls. How are you on this beautiful fall day? I'm doing pretty well. How many of you like to get presents? I do. Do you like to get presents on your birthday? Isn't it fun to get a box that's all wrapped and you don't know what's inside and you get to open it? Well, today we're going to talk about presents, and I brought some presents with me today on my board. Can you count how many presents I have? I'll help you if you help me count out loud. Okay, ready? Let's count because there's a lot here. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow, 10 presents. Isn't that wonderful? Can you find the present that's the biggest? We have 10. Can you find the biggest one? Do you think this is the biggest one or do you see a bigger one? I see a bigger one. Do you see a bigger one? How about this pink one up in the corner? That's really big. I wonder what's inside of that. So we had 10 presents and we took away one present. So how many presents do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 presents left. Okay, we took the biggest one. Can you find the smallest present? Oh, this one, right? What? You see one even smaller? That's pretty small. I think I see it. Oh, look how itty bitty. I wonder what's inside that itty bitty package. So we had 9. Take away 1. Now how many do we have? 8. Good job. I see a package that has stars on it. Do you see a package with stars? That one? Oh, here's a package with stars. How cool. I wonder what's in that. Okay, 8 packages. Take away 1 package. Now how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 packages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're right. I see 2 packages that are exactly the same. And they're exactly the same. And they have a bow. I got you. They're exactly the same. Do you remember what that sign is? See my lips? Pink bows. They're both the same and they have pink. And they have polka dots too. Here they are. Let's see if they're the same. Wow, good job. So I had, let me see, I had 7 and I took away 2. 1, 2. So how many do I have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if we're right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, we're good. Okay, now I see 2 packages that are exactly the same and they have bows. Not pink. Yellow bows. Do you see 2 that are the same? Well, these 2 aren't the same. Are they the same? They're the same size. They're the same color, and they both have yellow bows. So we had 5, and we just took away 2. Now how many do we have? 3. Good job. Okay, of our 3 packages, which one is the smallest? Two packages. Take away one package is, no, we had three. Sorry. Three packages. Take away one package is two packages. Good job. Okay, can you find the package that has the bow? Do you remember? What is that, the sign? We have a bow here and a bow here. One is, and one is. Do you see the green bow? Good job. Two packages. Take away one package is one package. And I'm going to take that last package and pretend to give it to you. So now I don't have any packages left. Well, remember the little girl in our story. The reason we're talking about presents is we're going to talk about Nancy from last week. Remember, Nancy had a really hard time at school. Remember, she forgot her homework, and then one day her desk was a mess, and one day the kids made fun of her on the bus, and she just was having a terrible time. And she went to the aquarium for a field trip, and she learned a very important thing. She learned that it's very important to be patient, to wait, and to trust in God to take care of things. Sometimes it's very hard for boys and girls to wait. Sometimes it's hard for big people like Miss Kathy to wait. I don't like to wait. I like things to happen right away. Well, Nancy was trying so hard to be patient and to learn to trust God all the time. Well, we were talking about presents. Nancy's daddy was having a birthday, and Nancy had a very good idea for a present for her daddy. Now, her mommy would have to help because Nancy would have to use this. Oh my goodness, Miss Kathy, what is that? It's got a long end on it. And this kind of is oval shaped, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 little things coming down there. What is that? And you take this and you put it in one of these. Now, your mommy probably doesn't allow you to touch one of these because they can be very dangerous. You can get your fingers stuck into them. But this thing, if I touch this little button up here, watch what it happens. Are you ready? Hold on to yourself. It's going to make noise. It spins around. What do you think? What do you think Nancy could make for her daddy while using one of these? What do you think she could make? Did you get it? She wants to make her daddy a cake. A cake. And do you have a favorite kind of cake? Well, Nancy's daddy liked chocolate cake with white icing. So Nancy asked her mommy to help because you can't touch the oven and you can't touch the mixer and all that stuff unless you have somebody to help. And so she asked her mommy, and mommy said, sure, I will give you my very favorite cake recipe. Do you know what a recipe is? A recipe is kind of a plan. It tells you all the stuff that you need to make your cake. Miss Kathy has recipes and your mommy has recipes. That way you know if you need some of this powdery stuff. Do you know what this is? It's all fluffy, and sometimes when mommy uses it, it gets all over the kitchen. Flour. Now, flour doesn't taste very good by itself, but if you put it in a pan and you put some sugar in there, we're getting the starts of a cake. And maybe we'll add a little bit of salt. And maybe, oh, this stuff smells It smells so good. We'll add a little bit of vanilla. We'll put a little bit of that in. And maybe, oh, you gotta be really careful you don't break these. You know what that is? Put some eggs in there, and we'll put some chocolate, and we'll put it all in the bowl, and we'll mix it. And Mommy will help get the oven ready. Oh, Nancy is so excited. Her daddy is going to love this cake. Now, the cake, do you see the cake has 2 layers, and there's icing in between? Do you see that? There's chocolate on the bottom, then some icing, then another chocolate on top. So she's going to need 2 baking pans to make her cake. So then that way she can put them on top of each other when it's done, put icing in the middle. Oh, Daddy's going to love it. So she mixed up all her stuff to make the cake. She put it in, and you can't eat it till it bakes. So Mommy got the oven all ready, and they put it in the oven, and they let it cook, and they let it cook. Now, when something comes out of the oven, it's very, very hot. So can you just reach in and grab it? Can you just reach in and grab the pan? No, Miss Kathy. Maybe you've seen your mommy. Looks like a little puppet. Hello, how are you? You have to use this to protect your hand so your hand doesn't get burned. And she reached in very carefully, and she took this one out, and then she took this one out, and she put them on top of one of the, what is this? I see you through that. What is that? That's kind of a little tray that you can put it on and let it cool. Let it cool so it just cools down, because you can't put the icing on when it's hot. Now, Mommy told Nancy, because as soon as it came out of the oven, Nancy's ready to put the icing on. It's like, oh, come on, Mom, let's get it out of the pan and put the icing. She said, oh, no, Nancy, you have to wait. Oh, Nancy hates to wait. She said, I'm going to set the timer, and I don't want you to touch the cake until the timer goes off. And when the timer goes off, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take the cake, and we're going to get that metal thing, okay? And we're going to do this. We're going to put this on top of the cake. Remember, the cake's inside here. And then we're going to flip it upside down. And that way, the cake can come out, and we can put the icing on top of it. Won't that be nice? But if you take it out too soon, you're going to ruin the cake. You have to wait. You have to leave it in there long enough to cool. So don't touch the cake until the timer goes off. And then we'll turn it upside down, and we'll put the icing on it after it cools. Oh, well, all Nancy could think of was that beautiful cake. And oh, she just could not wait to get it out and to put it on the pan and to icing it. And she didn't wait for the timer to go off. She just had a hard time waiting. So it's okay. It's only by a couple minutes, and she got the cake, and she got the thing, and she turned it, and she flipped it upside down without waiting for Mommy, and she took it off, and you know what happened? The cake broke. Did you know that could happen? Half of the cake came out onto the plate, and the other half stuck inside the pan because she didn't wait long enough. And Nancy saw her beautiful cake and saw that it was ruined, and she was so angry. Why did God let my beautiful cake get ruined? And she started to cry, and she just started to weep. And Mommy heard her crying clear from the other room, and Mommy came in and said, Nancy, what's the matter? Mommy saw what happened. When she turned the cake over, it was too early, and it didn't come out real nice. See how nice that one's coming out? See, there's the little cooling rack I had underneath, and there's the pan. And see, the cake is supposed to come out like that, but it didn't come out like that. It all broke. And Mommy said, Nancy, what did you do? Oh, Mommy, I tried to do my best, and look at this mess I made. Daddy's going to see that. Well, Daddy came in because he heard all that commotion in the kitchen, and Daddy looked at that cake and went, oh, my goodness, what happened? It just didn't work, Daddy. It all broke. Well, Nancy, did you wait like Mommy said? No, sir, I didn't. And Daddy had to remind Nancy about the lesson she learned at the aquarium. Do you remember who she met at the aquarium? Mr. Oyster. Do you remember the man put something in Mr. Oyster's mouth? Do you remember what it was? Sometimes you see it at a beach. You walk on it before you get in the water. Sand. He put a piece of sand. Did that make Oyster very happy? No, that sand hurt. Ouch. It's like having something in your eye or something that just hurts. And he was so sad. And many, 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 many days after the man put the sand in Mr. Oyster's mouth, do you remember what came out? It was very beautiful. It was a beautiful oyster. A beautiful pearl out of that oyster. Wasn't it beautiful? But that oyster had to wait a long time for that pearl to come out. And Daddy had to kind of remind Nancy that sometimes you have to be patient. When we try to do things too quickly, sometimes we end up with a mess, just like Nancy ended up with. Well, Nancy thought about it, and she said, I'm sorry, Daddy, and I'm sorry, Mommy. I should have listened to you. I should have waited. I don't know why I get so impatient sometimes. And Mommy said, it's okay, Nancy. I'll tell you what we'll do. We can try to fix the cake. Let's let it cool. Now, it was a little bit broken, but I think we can fix it. And they made the icing, and they patched the cake together. Now, it wasn't the beautiful cake. It wasn't that beautiful cake that Nancy wanted to make. It had some breaks in it, and it was a little bit bumpy. But you know what? Nancy was very happy that the cake turned out, and she was very happy to give it to her daddy for his birthday. And she learned again that sometimes you just have to wait, and it's hard to wait. It's hard to just trust God and wait when things don't go the way we want them to go. We have a bad time at school, or we have a bad time at home, and things just aren't going well. It's hard to trust. Do you remember the sign for trust? We had to grab onto something and hold really tight. Do you remember? Our rope. Trust. 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 Can you do that with your hands? Can you pretend like you're hanging onto a rope and you can't let go? You're holding on so tight. Okay, let's practice our verse. Ready? Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. Here comes the easy part. Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord, and he shall direct thy paths. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. I know that's a long verse because it's 2 verses. It's a twofer. So it's harder to learn, but you can do it because you are super smart. Let's try it again. Ready? Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Trust in the Lord. Grab the rope. Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord, and he shall direct thy paths. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Look who came to see us today. Oh my goodness, he doesn't have a head. Let's give him a head. Okay, let's give him some crows, okay? And we'll help him shoo the crows. Let's see how many crows we can give him. Okay, ready? Let's count. 1 crow, 2 crows, 3 crows, 4 crows, whoops, 5 crows, 6 crows, 7 crows, 8 crows, 9 crows, 10 crows. Oh my goodness. Mr. Scarecrow needs some help from us. Okay, you ready to do our Scarecrow song? Okay, get your arms hanging. Ready? A scarecrow stands out in the cornfield. What's he doing? Watching for black crows each day. The scarecrow stands out in the cornfield to shoo all the black crows away. Okay, now if we're going to shoo them, you have to be loud. Ready? Shoo, crows. Shoo, crows. You cannot stay here and play today. Come on. Shoo, crows. Shoo, crows. You cannot stay here and play today. Let's see how many we shoot, okay? Let's see how many we shoot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We scared 5 crows away. 10 crows? Take away 5 crows. How many do we have to scare away? 5 more crows. Okay, ready? A scarecrow stands out in the cornfield. What's he doing? Watching for black crows each day. The scarecrow stands out in the cornfield. What's his job? To shoo all those black crows away. Come on, we got 5 to go. Shoo, crows. Shoo, crows. You cannot stay here and play today. Shoo, crows. Shoo, crows. You cannot stay here and play today. Come on. Shoo, crows. Shoo, crows. You cannot stay here and play today. Shoo, crows. Shoo, crows. You cannot stay here and play today. Wait, see what I have. I have a silly looking crow, don't I? Did you know that there's a story in the Bible about this black bird? Now, in the Bible, he's called a raven. And we're not going to want to scare these ones away. It's a good story. Now, our story is about, remember, Bible stories are true, so this is a true story about this man. Do you see this man? He is a very special friend of God. He is a prophet, and he goes around and tells people to obey God and listen to God, and he teaches them God's word. And his name is Elijah. Can you say his name? Elijah. Elijah. Very good. And he is very sad today. And do you know why he's sad? Because these are God's people. Can you see them? And they are bowing down and worshiping this statue. They're bringing this statue gifts and bowing down because they think that statue of, I don't know, looks like a bull or a cow, that's their God. Now, it's just a statue. It has eyes, but it can't see. It has ears, can't hear. Certainly not God. But Elijah sees God's people worshiping the statue. And he's just very upset because he knows this doesn't please God. So Elijah goes to the most important man in the whole country, the king. And he said, King, this is just wrong. We cannot be worshiping something that isn't God. The only person we're supposed to pray to and worship is God, the God who created us. Well, the king is angry. The king is angry at Elijah. And Elijah said, King, God is going to have to punish us. Do you know how mommy and daddy sometimes have to punish you if you do wrong? Maybe if you don't behave at the store, or you don't put your toys away, or when it's time for bed, you don't get ready for bed, and mommy sometimes has to punish you. Well, God is going to send a punishment to Israel, to his people. And Elijah said, King, it's not going to rain for a very long time. Now that might sound good to you. Yay, no rain, we can go out and play. And it's nice when it doesn't rain and the sun is out, we can go out and play. But if it never rains, everything gets very, very dry. The grass can't grow to feed the animals, the cows and the sheep and the goats that eat the grass. They don't have any grass to eat. The tomatoes in the garden can't grow, and the corn can't grow. Nothing can grow, and the trees all die. And when all that happens, people don't have anything to eat. So when it doesn't rain for a very, very long time, that can be very, very bad. And so Elijah told the king it's not going to rain, and Elijah left. Now, who's going to take care of Elijah? Because first of all, the king is angry at him. Second of all, there isn't going to be any rain, so there's not going to be very much food. Who's going to take care of Elijah? Elijah is going to have to really trust God. And God tells Elijah, I want you to go to the brook, to go down to the brook, and I want you to stay there. I'll take care of you there. So Elijah, all by himself, I don't want to show you that part, goes down to the brook. Now there's water because the water hasn't all dried up yet. There's still some water to drink. But what's he going to eat? Is he going to eat leaves, or what's he going to eat? He needs some food to eat. Well, God did a miracle. A miracle is something that we can't do. We can't explain it. Only God can do a miracle. Something we can't even understand it. God talk to those ravens, those birds, those blackbirds. They look like crows, like we were singing about. And he said, Raven, I want you to go get some food and feed my servant Elijah. And the bird did exactly what God said. And he flew in and he brought Elijah food. Can you see? Can you see what's in his beak? He brought Elijah food. The ravens every day, you can see some up in the sky. Every day they brought Elijah food, so that Elijah had food and water while there was a drought, while there wasn't any rain. Elijah had to learn to trust God. And every day God took care of him. And God fed him by using those crows, those ravens, to bring him food. And boys and girls, sometimes it's very hard to be patient, and it's very hard to trust that God sees what's going on and takes care of us, but he does. And sometimes he makes us wait, like he made Nancy wait, and Nancy didn't want to wait, and she almost ruined her cake. Sometimes it's hard to be patient. Sometimes we get the wiggles and we want to get things done right away. And sometimes God just says, wait and trust me. I can take care of you. You just be patient and you just watch. I'll take care of you. And just like he fed Elijah with birds. Can you believe that? We were just shooing them away from Mr. Scarecrow. And those birds fed Elijah. Let's sing one of our songs we haven't sung for a while. Behold, 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 I stand at the door and knock, knock, knock. Behold, behold, I stand at the door and knock, knock, knock. Girl, if any girl hear my voice, do you remember boy? If any boy hear my voice and will open, open, open the door, I will come in. Girls, because girls wear bonnets, a tie. Girl, boys like baseball caps. So this is boy, okay? Behold, behold, I stand at the door and knock, knock, knock. Behold, behold, I stand at the door and knock, knock, knock. If any girl hear my voice, if any boy hear my voice, and will open, open, open the door, I will come in. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord, and he shall direct thy paths. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. One more time. Now, I want to hear you this time, okay? 2 verses. You can do it. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. You can do this part. Trust in the Lord. I can't hear you. Trust in the Lord. A little bit louder. Trust in the Lord, and he shall direct thy paths. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust him this week, boys and girls. He can take care of you. And even if it seems like he's being quiet, God is always working, and he's always listening, and he always keeps you protected in his hand. So just trust him this week. I love you. See you next week, boys and girls.